Hello everyone, welcome back to the Spiritual Safe House. My name is Laura, and I just want to check this right here. So I feel like right now, I feel like this is a test right now for me, because I just did this live stream for about 40 minutes, and then something went wrong, and it wouldn't finish or wouldn't publish, whatever it is. So I feel like this is a test of my patience, and maybe this is the universe telling me that I need to talk about this again, or something like that. So I am just trying to gather myself from this little annoyance here. So if you see me looking up here, it's because I'm just checking to make sure that this is still going. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about a personal experience that I had. Okay, now I want to tell you about one of my dreams that I had, and I really do feel like when we really remember a dream vividly, that it's because we're supposed to get something out of it. Okay, so I know at least for myself, a lot of times when I have dreams, I try my best to remember as soon as I wake up, and it's like the harder I try to remember my dream, the more it just goes right out of my mind. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in my dream, my interpretation of that through, my dream book interpretation that I'm going to show you, one that I really like to use, and then how that interpretation intertwines with certain scriptures and telling us, exactly, I don't know, through the Bible, I feel like there's a lot of things that we can be learning that are intertwined with our daily life, and I think we just miss those things a lot. Okay, so with what happened to me, I think that I really needed to hear this because it's very specific to what's been going on with me right now. All right, so in my dream, and this happened 2 nights ago. Okay, so sorry, I don't know what is going on with Facebook Live, but it's acting really weird. Okay, so I'm trying to see if somebody could just comment so I know that it's working, because I think it wants us to do different things now to see the comments. I don't know. Ooh. Swipe left. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you guys. So I was just saying, before you guys hopped on, I just did this live stream for 40 minutes and then realized that it wasn't working correctly. So I feel like this is a test of my patience today. So I'm just trying to gather myself from that, and kind of start all over again. So, all right. So thank you. I can see your comments. Okay, very good. So I was just saying that today I'm going to talk about a dream that I had 2 nights ago, and the interpretation that I got from it, and how I feel some scriptures are tied into that, and what this is saying about our fears and temptations that we can be having. Okay, so the dream that I had, and like I said, this was 2 nights ago, so I dreamt that I was in this large coliseum, and at the bottom of the Coliseum, on the floor was all of this sand. And I feel like I have to go back and see maybe if that means anything too, because I didn't look that up. But I was in this large Coliseum, all of this sand, and there was these 2 gigantic snakes. and they were like following me around, like in this circle, like I was running in a circle from these snakes, and they never hurt me, but I was running in a circle from these snakes. But also there were probably about 10 people, and I couldn't make out the faces of anybody, so I didn't know specifically who they were, but I felt like they were all people that were close to me, people that loved me, that I had a good relationship with. I never got the sense that they were people that, I should be fearful of, or anything like that. So these people, when I was running in this circle from these snakes, these people were kind of like following me around. And this went on for a while. And when I started to get tired from running and I stopped to take a rest, the snakes stopped as well. So when I stopped to rest, the people who were following me stopped. The snakes stopped also. So it's not like they continued to go after me or anything like that. And that was like pretty much the dream. And then I woke up, just naturally, not from anything that startled me or anything. And so the one thing about snakes is that they can be interpreted as fear. So something that, the way that I'm seeing this is that I have been running from my fears, almost in like this cycle motion, this cycle pattern. And fears, as well as challenges, difficult decisions, things like that. And despite being in this circle, which sometimes seems endless, of, worrying about if I'm making the right decisions, things like that, I do have this large, group of people in my life that are supportive of me. And I do feel like that. I do feel very supported. So despite having these fears and being kind of like stuck in this cycle, I do have support around me. And the piece where when I stopped to rest and the snake stopped also, I feel like that is indicative of the fact that I do have these fears, but I do also have control over them, right? So I have control over the way that I react to my fears. I have control over, my challenges. So that's kind of what I got from this. And now I looked up a couple different things, and one thing that I'm going to read you from this book is a little bit different from that. Snakes are a good omen. Okay, well, that's good to hear, because now the thing is, like, when I'm describing these things, I don't know enough about dream interpretation to, like, hear somebody's dream and tell them what that means. This is all just very, like, basic things to me that I'm trying to learn. Oh, they can be an animal totem as well. That's very interesting. I'm gonna look that up too. Thank you very much. So the one thing that, like I said, the one thing that I looked up talked about fear. But the other thing that I looked up, okay, so I'll show you what I'm reading from here. So this is The Ultimate Dictionary to Dream Language. I love this book. It's a big book, okay? Has a lot of things written in here. False events. That is very interesting. Fear is false events appearing real. So that does kind of go with the same thing, though, saying that, like, my fears don't necessarily, like, sometimes we make up these things, get all nervous about these things, and they're not actually real. So I like that. Thank you very much. So let's see here. So then, like I said, the snakes were following me, so running from a snake is one thing that this book says. It has a lot of different things about snakes, like some things that involve like their color as well, but I didn't really remember very vividly what color they were, so I didn't want to get into that interpretation because I wasn't really sure about that. Sorry, that's my dog barking at the mailman. Okay, so this says to run from a snake. For the next 4 days, someone will go to great lengths to steer you in the wrong direction. Be alert to this and do not allow yourself to be lured into the wrong path. Okay, so what is that saying? That is telling me that there are going to be things, temptations, there are going to be, things that are going to try to steer me and question me about the decisions that I have made, right? So you need to be aware, and I know in another video I talked about, using the word evil. A lot of people get freaked out by that word. Myself being one of them, I don't really use that word a lot. But, evil and negativity in general can come across in a lot of different ways, and little ways they can come across. So being purposefully aware of looking out for this negativity can really keep you away from it, because you have to make a conscious choice to choose the divine path. You have to make a conscious choice to keep your vibration and your light at its, optimum level, okay? And these are all choices, okay? So for the next 4 days, this says, so today's day 3, and I do feel like that, I have been questioning myself more, and I think we do that a lot, is this the right decision? Should I be doing this? And in the end, you really don't know until you actually do it. And sometimes we just have to make those jumps. We have to make those leaps, take those risks. And until you do that, you're not gonna know, So, okay. So that is one thing, at least that's coming from this book. And this is actually a little bit off topic, but, I think especially too when you're looking at your dreams, you want to, look at what can be, what different language you can use that can represent the same thing, because different words can mean different things, and you might not resonate with one interpretation, but if you look at it a different way, you could resonate with the other. So I was thinking, and like I said, these snakes in my dream were very, very large. So I was thinking, well, maybe I can, think of those as anacondas. So when I look this up, okay, let's see here. So the representing the anaconda means that take steps to prevent water damage to your property for the next few days. Okay? Not really much of anything that I'm talking about right now. However, this dream happened on Sunday night into Monday, and on Sunday all through Monday. Now, I live right outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. We had a wicked storm starting Sunday night. So it was very, very interesting to me to hear that, because it was very high rain, high wind, and, I just thought that was weird that, it says to watch out for water damage, which I don't think I got any water damage to my house, but you never know. I'm going to go outside and check now, but, I just thought that was interesting. Wanted to share that with you. So like I said, you have to think if there are different, different words that you can use for the same thing. Snake, anaconda. So just try to keep that in mind as well. Okay. So moving on to kind of the scripture piece. 2 snakes could be yin and yang. Yeah, that could be too. That could be too. There are so many different interpretations, so that's why I kind of I'd like to stick to just one book, but I know that there could be many other things that it could mean, but thank you very much for all of this, because, looking at this, they represent healing as well. I love hearing that, because I was getting nervous that this was like more of a negative dream. But it's nice to see that there are different, there are different ways to look at this. And I am going to look up what the snake totem means. So, okay. So kind of going back to, the dream and it having to do with, like fears and temptations, things like that. So one verse that we're going to look at, let me see here. Okay, so this is coming from, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for the hearts. Nice to see you back on here. Okay, so we're going to be looking at, we're going to go to Genesis 15:1, okay? So Genesis chapter 15, verse 1 says, "After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceedingly great reward." Okay, so I think when looking at scriptures, we have to pay special attention to the terminology that they use and specific words that are used. So this is saying that God will shield us. He will be our shield for temptation and for fear. As long as we are putting full trust in him, and if we put full trust in him, that he is going to be our shield, that he is our shield, then he will reward us exceedingly. So what does that word exceedingly mean? So we are having faith in the universe, faith in God, faith in source, whatever words that you want to use. And through that trust, even in our most difficult times, so during times of extreme fear, during times when we are having the most challenges, and maybe when we feel like God isn't listening to us or isn't with us, during those times when we have a strong sense of our faith and trust that God is still with us, he will reward us beyond what we have asked for. Okay, so that's what exceedingly means. So think of the things that you ask for, things that you want to happen in your life, things that you pray for. When we have faith in the most difficult times when it could be very, very easy to lose our faith, keeping it when he gives us the most reward, more than we could have asked for. Okay? So that's what that is saying. All right? Now, the second verse that I want to look at here is in Matthew. I know I read a lot from Matthew. So we are going to look at Matthew 6:13. Okay? And this may be very familiar to a lot of you. Okay? So Matthew 6:13, part of this comes straight from the Our Father, which is a very well-known prayer, especially to Christians. So this says, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen." So this is saying that when we are praying this prayer, when we are asking God to deliver us from temptation, to help us stay away from temptation and to stay away from negativity, that is what he is going to do, okay? But in the end, it is our choice, okay? So we can pray for his help all that we want, but in the end, we do have free will and we do have the choice to choose the light or to choose negativity, okay? So that is just a reminder that, when you say this prayer, and I think that, I've known this prayer since I was very, very tiny. I'm sure many of you have. But we sometimes don't actually, we don't really think about the words and what they mean. We recite these prayers just from memorization because we know them, but we don't really think about what they mean. So when we say that, we are asking God to help us with temptation. Okay, we are asking God to be there for us. And then going back to Genesis, he is saying that, when you ask me for help in these situations of temptation and fear, that I am here to be your shield. He's telling us, I am here to be your shield. Trust in me, and I am here for you. That's what he's telling us. Okay? So I think it's really interesting to look at, the dream interpretation and then also the scriptures, because they are very intertwined. They are very intertwined. So keep in mind that even though you have these fears and you might feel that you are in this crazy cycle, if you trust the universe and trust God and know that in your darkest times, he will be there for you, he will reward you greatly in the end for keeping your faith. And he will be there to be your shield and to help you through these situations. Okay? So I really just wanted to share that, little personal story of mine with you, because I felt like it had so much meaning behind it. Okay? So, I like to do different things with you guys on each day of the week, the spiritual schedule that I have with you. But if you're feeling like you need a little bit more and, just weekly, live streams or, questions just aren't enough, and you really want to, dive a little bit deeper and really get in touch with your spirituality and reach the spiritual enlightenment that you want, I would love to have you in my spiritual development program. Okay, so it's a 12-week program, and each week we work on something different, and we'll have an hour session each week, and then I'll give you homework on that specific topic, and I will be available to you during the week as well. So if that's something that you feel you can really benefit from, and you would like to bring your spirituality to another level, and you can choose your own goals, and we can work together to get you to the point spiritually where you want to be. I would love to have you in my program to work on that with you, and get you to where you want to be in your life. Okay, so if that is something that you are interested in, you can PM me at the Spiritual Safe House, and I can answer any questions about that. Or you can check out my program on my website, thespiritualsafehouse.com, okay? And I would love to hear also about your dreams, and, if you have any questions about them. And like I said, I don't really know quite enough about it to, tell you exactly what your dream, means just like that. But I would love to, kind of dissect it with you. I can look things up for you in this book if you had any questions, and maybe try to make some connections with the word and see exactly what your dreams are telling you. Okay, so I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. All right, so let me know how you're doing, and like I said, if you have any questions about my program and you want to hop on board with that with me, you can just PM me at the Spiritual Safe House. Okay, so thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.